Right.
Alright, hello Internet and welcome back. I am Matt and this is the year of the kilt 2015. I'm wearing a kilt every day for the entire year and we're here to talk about it. And today I am wearing the Utilakilt's Workman's model. We've been over that before. Check our previous episode because it's amazing. It's my favorite kilt. We're going to talk briefly about another kilt by Utilakilt's. It looks the same except it's black. And this is a survival model, which means it has a whole awful lot of pockets. This kilt you can fit 18 of your favorite bottled beverage, for most of us that will be beer, in the pockets of this kilt while you're wearing it and walk around, sort of. But you can fit all of those beers in the pockets, and I have a link to that video in the description down below. It is much more heavy duty than the Workman's. The fabric's thicker, there's more of it, there are more pockets. It's awesome. It still has the phenomenal rip apart sort of whatever that is, construction, I guess you might say. And it is a good winter kilt because it's so heavy. Not so good in the summer, but what are you going to do? It's got interior pockets that go like all the way down. You can fit your whole freaking arm in there. So highly recommended, but it's like 330 bucks for this particular model of kilt from Utilakilt's. So even more than the Workman's model, although you do get more pockets for your money. So anyway, that's a little quickie review. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the weird stories and things I get, and questions and conversations I have when we're talking about, you know, life in a kilt. So the most popular question that you get from completely random strangers, men and women, is some form of the question, are you wearing any underwear? And most of the time they phrase it a little differently than that. Most of the time it's like, oh, what's worn under the kilt? Or, you know, are you regimental? You know, because Scottish military, for some reason, wasn't allowed to wear underwear underneath their kilts circa World War I guess. So regimental is code for freeballing, I suppose. So I've got some of my favorite answers to, are you wearing any underwear? And so I'm going to have my lovely assistant, Eric, asked me several questions, actually several versions of the same question from behind the camera. Don't worry about him. And he's just going to ask me a couple of times the question, what's worn under the kilt? So Eric, if you'd oblige, just...
What's worn under the kilt?
Nothing is worn. It's all in perfectly good order.
No.
Ask me again. Yep.
What's worn underneath the kilt?
Your mom's lipstick.
What's worn underneath the kilt?
Socks and boots.
What's worn underneath the kilt?
This is when a woman asks you. That depends. How warm are your hands?
What's worn underneath the kilt?
Same as you, only bigger. I like that one. That's one of my favorites.
And what's worn underneath the kilt?
My bagpipes. Want to give them a blow? And then, you know, there are endless variations of varieties. One that I used once, you know, a lady asked me, so do you have any underwear or some variety of that? I was in the Home Depot shopping, like I do, in front of the cashier's checkout counter. There's a woman checking me out, and there's a woman checking me out from behind, so to speak. And she kind of walks up to me fairly close and says, so are you wearing any underwear? And I was like, kind of like, oh, here we go. And I said, most unfortunately, I said, good girls don't ask, bad girls find out for themselves. She took about a half a second's pause, and then from behind me lifts the kilt up and shows my rear end to everyone behind me and goes, oh, okay, great. And then she wanders off like nothing had ever happened. So the problem with some of the answers that you can give to whether people are asking you if you're wearing underwear is that they may actually check. They might call your bluff and go for it. So that has happened to me. I also had an instance once where for whatever reason I was chasing after a car. I think I'd left like my camera on the back of the car or something, and then the woman driving it drove off. And it's an expensive camera, so I was kind of freaking out. And so I'm running after her in a kilt, nothing on underneath it because that's how I am. And there are people standing on the sides of the street as I run down. And if you've never tried it, don't. Because running in a kilt is very revealing. there is a front apron, and it goes so far. But when you run, the movement of your knees allows a lot of movement of everything else. And I ended up flashing probably a good dozen people before I slowed down enough to just like take out my phone like an intelligent person and call her and say, "Hey, you've got my camera on your car, please stop." That was unfortunate. As we gather more ridiculous stories, some of them I admittedly just kind of block out of my memory, la 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 la, because I don't want to think about that weird moment ever again. But as I accrue more interesting stories, if indeed I do, I'll be sure to share them with you guys. And I'm interested to hear whatever crazy stories you might have from people asking about your kilt or your underwear or your lack thereof, and taking it upon themselves to find out. So anyway, now we're coming to the next section of our show. This is the first time I've had a guest on this show. We're only 4 episodes in, so whatever. But Eric, my friend, lives in town with me, and he has never worn a kilt in his life before. And with much bribery, he has consented to come down to the studio and try one on a little bit. So Eric, why don't you come down and join me? Everybody give Eric a resounding internet applause. Thank you very much.
What's up, Internet?
So this is Eric. He's wearing my sport kilt classic model in an Irish tartan of some variety. He's got the beautiful fringe on the side. He's got the apron where it belongs because he has his fashion guru to help him decide how it's worn. And Eric, first impressions, how does it feel?
Very free. It's pretty open.
It is very open. I will agree with you there. Would you maybe consider someday wearing this in the real world?
Ooh, it'd take a lot of whiskey to do that.
Well, fortunately, kilt wearers are usually imbibers of such things, and we happen to have some whiskey, not with us. I have to take him out to drinks after this, so hopefully we can get him to wear it out to the bars and enjoy it. What do you think about the whole kilt wearing thing? Eric's known me for a few years, so what do you think?
It's pretty interesting, definitely. Brings out the Irish people. You notice them right away, but
the Irish,
Scottish,
Scots,
yeah. I don't know. It's a little different for guys to wear this kind of style of dress.
And if I told you that men had been wearing dresses and skirts and kilts for hundreds of years, you would say,
I guess I believe you. Braveheart wore one. So,
well, yes.
There you go.
William Wallace is the classic story. Yes. All right. Well, you want to give us a twirl? A little. Yeah. Hey, looking good. All right. Sweet. Well, thank you, Eric, for joining me on this ridiculous endeavor, and we are going to go hit the bars, so I will see you guys next week for more kilted shenanigans. Thank you very much for joining me. I am Matt, and this is the Year of the Kilt. We'll see you.